You did mention something about you hate to see her like a fellow black woman. If she was white, would you have been okay with it?
No, 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 no. I wouldn't have been okay with it regardless of the color, but I just think it hits a little bit harder, when you see your own.
Why does
Okay.
it hit harder?
Because, we live in a society where, things happen and, it's publicized on the news. And I think a lot of times we don't get that benefit of the doubt. So I just can relate to that.
Okay. So if it was Angel, you would have been pissed, but if it was Caitlyn, you would have had a problem. Okay.
No, I would have had a problem with it both ways, but it just hurts. It just hits a little harder,
Okay.
when it's my people.
All right. Keziah, did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right, I'm working on it. What were your thoughts about it? Do you really think she was drunk?
Is that the question you're asking me?
Yeah, I mean, you can still just chime in on everything else, but I'm just curious. Just say hypothetically, if you was a police officer and you approached her, would you think that she was drunk?
Absolutely. She can barely talk. She's talking about, and she's also like, I forget who mentioned it, but she has an attorney that she forgot to call. So she's doing all types of things that you can tell that she's under the influence of something. And obviously can't tell how drunk she is, but yeah. My first take on the video though, are how many constitutional violations were made by that police officer taking advantage of someone who is drunk. That bothers me the most. So, but as far as her being a celebrity and that status is concerned, no, celebrities should not get a pass. They get enough passes in life in general. The law should apply equally to everyone, regardless of status or how much money you have. However, I do agree with the last point that if you are in a certain position, people leverage their positions all the time for their benefit, even if it's not on the level of getting out of a DUI. Like it could be something small, like on a much smaller level, not as serious, but people do it all the time, every single day.
All right. Go ahead, Trev Smooth. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Yeah, so as much disdain as I have for Glorilla and the example that she sets for younger women and just how embarrassing she always is, I still hate to see that happen to her. But it is one of those things where she should not get a pass, because I've watched what happens when people get a pass. I've seen an episode where a guy was with his girl, they were let go, and later on they flipped the car and were deleted. I saw an officer give a break to an individual before. It was a young lady, and she ran over and deleted two officers that night. These are separate instances, right? And if your child is out there, you have a teenager coming home from work, whatever the case is, and they are victimized by someone who was given a pass, you would hope that they would not give a pass in a situation like that, just because of the dangers of it. She could really hurt someone if she was drunk. So I don't think that they should take the chance in allowing that. But we can't call her drunk at this point because we didn't see a sobriety test conducted. I don't know if the video does. If it does, then great. But as far as what we saw, I didn't see that. I didn't see a breathalyzer. She refused the breathalyzer. So we don't know for sure that she was drunk. Likely, yes, but we can't say for sure that she was drunk. And she probably might beat the case because of her refusal. You will get arrested in most states if you refuse the test. But I've seen people get out of it afterward if they had enough lawyers behind them or a really good lawyer behind them. So I'm not going to give any legal advice, but you should just pay attention to what the laws are in your state if you were ever pulled over, and what's the best thing that you should do in a situation like that. It's a very serious situation. So it is good that she was arrested just because of the damage that she could inflict on others on the road like that. She obviously did a reckless move. Everything was irresponsible about it, right? When you're carrying, in most states, you're supposed to have it on your person. She's in the South, so they're a little more lax. Maybe you could have it in the back seat. It's not a great idea to not have your firearm on your person at all times. You should have it holstered on your body. For one, you don't just keep it in the back seat. And then she could smell bud too. I don't know what the validity of that is, but judging by what we've witnessed from Glorilla, it is likely again. So, I mean, so you're drinking and you're smoking and you're carrying a firearm, driving recklessly. Well, damn, what we doing? Like, do you think that this is the way you're supposed to conduct yourself? At that point, it sounds like she felt like she was invincible. And for her to really say, do you know how I am? Like, okay, now you're doing too much, right? She obviously felt like she was supposed to get a pass just because of who she was, but I don't think so. It's not. I don't care about fairness. I just care about people understanding the dangers of it. It's a very serious matter. You don't want to be out here hurting other people because you want to have a good time. And I noticed the word resources was used tonight. Now, she has the resources to get a driver on the spot. She could have hired a limousine if she didn't have one set up. There's so many different things that she could have done. Anybody she would have called at that time would have been, she got a bunch of cronies. Anybody who would do anything for her, right? She has the resources for somebody to just say, listen, I'm going to ride shotgun. Go ahead and take this. There's so many decisions that she made that were poor before that, but we don't know how often she does this. She just thinks that it's cool. And, I know we all make mistakes when we're young, but we have to recognize the magnitude of what those poor decisions can do to others. So I'll leave it there for now. I don't want to be all long-winded.
Smoke weed every day.
Go ahead, Jasmine. What are your thoughts about it, man?
I pretty much agree with everyone, and Trev made most of the points that I was going to say too as well. Like I don't know why she didn't just have a driver. Like you're Glorilla, like you have the money and the resources to do that. So that would have been step one for sure. But I mean, she definitely shouldn't get a pass because, like he said, you don't know how often she does this. You don't know if this is. She's just. I want to know what she was actually doing to get pulled over. Like, was she swerving? Was she speeding? Like what was it? So. If that case, if she was swerving, then they could have saved a life just by stopping her and locking her up because she could definitely hit somebody on the sidewalk or, just an innocent person just because she wanted to be out riding around drunk. So, yeah, celebrities definitely don't need to get a pass. They definitely need to be handled just so that way, make an example out of them so that way they can understand that, hey, I need to abide by the rules. I'm not exempt just because I got a little money. Like you can get out, but you still need to at least understand that you don't get a pass.
I'm just adding a little bit more context. There was some more clips, but I didn't want to keep playing them clips all day for you guys. But she got pulled over because she did a U-turn, and then her excuse was that her GPS misguided her. And then she was asked to step out of the car. She did have to try to walk the line, and she was just kind of stalling a little bit. So it was a short exchange of words when it came to her taking that test. She did refuse the breathalyzer. Her pants was unzipped, and she was saying because she had a gun inside of her. I guess she had it on her, and maybe she must have tossed it in the backseat. I don't know, but those are just a few things that you guys didn't see in the video that was going on. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to Marcus White. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
First off, I want to say I think it's cute and kind of weird how she be like refused. I refuse to take that test. Refuse. I don't know how you
That's
together.
Memphis. That's Memphis.
Refuse. But I had a lot of negative experience with the police and a couple positive ones. That was a positive experience as far as I'm concerned. They ain't call out her name. They ain't trying to be overly aggressive. They ain't, you know what I'm saying? They was calm. They talked to her when they told her she had a gun in the back. Before they even know you got a gun, a lot of times, I'm like a bigger black guy, so they draw down on me instantly. So for her to say she had a gun and they didn't draw down on her, it didn't get irritated in it. I think that's partially, you know what I'm saying, the positive. I mean, that is just typical like hood shit. They riding around smoking and drinking, and it's gonna happen. You got to expect that to come with that when you're doing that. So, yeah, as far as her saying, "Do you know who I am?" I think at some point she might have. I don't think she was trying to flex on her. I thought she was asking her like maybe they was picking on her because she said it like that. People be paranoid sometimes. She especially smoking. She might be a little paranoid, like, man, they just harassing me. This the hip hop police, you know, they be saying stuff like that. So maybe she thought that's what was going on. Now you just got caught. You're gonna have to hold this L. But I think she handled it well for the circumstances. She ain't flip out and start cursing them out and trying to get extra belligerent. She just was trying to smooth her way out. Because at first she was saying like she did a good job of not lying, but not incriminating herself. She was evasive, but she ain't lie. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And I had a question for Keziah. Did I say that right?
Keziah.
Keziah. When you said when you said they violated her rights, which ones was you speaking of?
Fourth Amendment. They started questioning her and didn't read her the Miranda rights.
Okay, yeah.
Once you start all that questioning, and like you're in Fourth Amendment zone, so you need to read the Miranda rights because now she doesn't have legal counsel available, and that's when you get into the Fifth and Sixth Amendment. But yeah, I just don't like to see officers take advantage of people who don't have counsel there. And that's what they were doing, regardless of whether they were being nice about it. And for you to say that they were being nice about it and didn't go overboard, I mean, that's why earlier, the Manic Genius. Did we go by your screen name or your actual name?
Yeah, just call me Manic.
Okay. So Manic earlier, he was saying it hits harder when it's a brown person or a black person because we know what happens to us in those circumstances. That could have went way south. So I mean, even the fact that we're saying like we shouldn't have to ever say that. Oh, I'm so relieved they didn't beat her to death for being drunk or high. Like, that's insane that we even have to say that. But yeah, so my thing is like, I just hate to see police take advantage of people not knowing laws or not knowing their rights. And that, I mean, on that circumstance, that's something that she could have got that thrown out with.
And just to add on to that too, it's a lot of times that the officers don't even know some of the rights. So,
they don't.
Yeah. So if you do know your rights and you do right by it, then I think you have a stronger case. I mean, to me, I think she did incriminate herself a little bit. I don't think it was certain questions that she had the necessary answer. And I feel like, you know, they try to put you in like they clearly know something's up. And once they began questioning her, she got a little paranoid. And a lot of times, once people get into situations, all that training, they just go out the window. So anything that you've been instructed to do, once it's a whole different ball game once you get in the ring.